What's going on, everyone? We're finally here. We finally have the Joust patch notes for SMITE 2. They just released this earlier today. Actually, I think they're still technically talking over about it right now, but they already went over Joust and a little bit of Duel and Assault. And we'll scroll through these just to get like a quick synopsis of everything that's coming. But the beta is actually coming today. And yeah, they introduced Joust. Like I said, we'll just go quickly through a lot of these. But we're mainly here for Joust, so I'm gonna go over that quickly. Or I'm sorry, not quickly. First, others will go over quickly. But without further ado, I guess we could just get into it. So yes, Joust is coming. It's going to be on the Season 3 Chinese map like it was for the, I think one of the most popular times in the SMITE's history. And then with that, because of that, Joust being on Chinese map is one of the most popular there too as well. I think it's been there for the longest too, from Season 3 to Season 7. Which, side note, I like Season 7 map a lot more. Can't complain too much because Joust is finally here, but I do like Joust on Season 7 map a little bit more just because it has more of the competitive aspect of it that I like between the balance of Conquest and Joust. It just has more farm, more micro fights happening over farm, you know, stuff like that. Season 3 Joust, you have like 4 buff camps. 4, right? 2 blues, 1 purple, 1 red. You know, it's kind of whatever at the end of the day. So what ends up happening is on this Chinese map, you're going to be fighting back and forth. Those are where most of your kills and gold is going to be, from getting waves and killing each other, which is why there's a lot of snowball. Funnily enough, because you get more XP and gold when you kill, and there's not a lot of farm, so you just back and forth. So, and it makes sense because it's more of a casual game mode anyways, and so most people who play it aren't really playing for that competitive aspect, I feel like. So it makes sense, but side rant aside, Joust is finally here, so I can't complain. But yeah. All right, so hopping into the first one, we got Joust releasing on January 13th. So the patch for all this, these patch notes are going live today, outside of a couple game modes, that being Joust and Duel. I'm assuming it's a map thing, or maybe it's just not ready. Because, for example, Assault is actually coming today for you Assault heads. Assault's gonna be live today. But yeah, Joust isn't coming till January 13th. So I believe, what day is the 13th? That's Monday. Next Monday. So mark your calendars. I don't know what time. Probably sometime in the morning, afternoon, if I had to guess. Or early morning. Sometimes they do that. Yeah, 13th. It's gonna be 3v3 blind pick. Blind pick meaning that, you know, you can't see the other person's picks, which also mean you can duplicate other gods, potentially going up against the same god, which is regular Joust. Game mode details. Here we go. So starting at level 3, so normal level, but it is at 1250 gold. This is about 250 gold cheaper, or yeah, cheaper I guess would be the word, because it used to be 1500. I'm assuming this just because of had the item change, SMITE 2 being a different, it's the same game but it's also different at the same time, if that makes sense. So 1250 gold is your start with. Spooling is 7 per second. So if you guys do remember, well, real quick, 7 gold per second, that's what spooling is. So you're gonna be getting 7 gold every second, which means that you're gonna get your items really quick comparatively to like Conquest, as their gold swings all last. But if you guys do remember, this used to be 6 spooling per second. They changed it to 7 a little bit ago, and that also followed on to the other Season 7 map that we're currently on for SMITE 1 in Joust. So one of the biggest things was that you'd get all your items, but because a lot of the starters you had to level up at 20, what ended up happening is you'd have an excess amount of gold before you reach 20, so you just have fucking like 3,000 gold with nothing to buy, because you're not, the spooling and the XP per level doesn't really correlate. From the little that I have played, outside of most of the games always being one-sided, which, like I said, snowball is going to be a big thing on this map. When you did get like late game level 20, it seemed to somewhat match up for the most part. I will have to get more information on that, but 7 gold is 1 gold more than it was before a long time ago, so you're going to get a lot more items, gold online, a lot sooner. Setup time is going to be 60 seconds, which I believe was 45 before, which is nice. So you do get some time to set up. Now, whenever you get into the game because of your computer or whatever network, that'll be a different story. But 60 seconds is a pretty good time, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly. God respawn timer, interesting. 2.5 seconds per XP level, plus 1 second for every minute of the game time after 10 minutes. Okay, so it's 2.5 seconds per XP level. So you're at, plus 1 second for every minute of game time after 10 minutes. So this, pre 10 minutes, obviously, this won't apply. So you're going to be respawning a lot sooner. But that's kind of how Joust was, or really any type of game mode that goes on long enough. So respawn timers are just going to consecutively go up in time. I believe that it is pretty long. Like once you get to like the 12 minutes, it's a pretty long timer for how weak like the Titan, Phoenix, and Tower is. So we'll have to see about that. First blood bonus is 100 gold. On to lane minions. So they do spawn at 0, which I believe is the exact same as it was last time in SMITE 1. I do like how they add this right here, meeting at 25 seconds. That's pretty cool. And I believe, I don't know, they'll go over buff camps. Yeah, buff camps down there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same exact thing. Joust minion waves gradually increase in strength, replacing more minions with champions that have increased health and protections, but also reward more gold and XP. So you are going to be getting even more gold and XP from that when the minion waves increase and minions change to champions, which is pretty cool. So 0 to 5 minutes in, Minotaurs spawn every 6 waves. This is a SMITE 2 feature that they added like Conquest. So I believe the first one will be a champion melee, one will just be a melee, and the third will be ranged. And I'm assuming it'll just reset going back to champion melee within the 5 minutes. So every 6 waves, Minotaur spawns in. And then once you go down to 5 to 10 minutes, and it's Minotaur every 5 waves. The longer the game goes, up until 15 plus minutes, Minotaurs will be spawning a lot more. Because, Minotaur every 6 waves versus Minotaur every 3 waves, cutting it in half. And that's just probably to get the game going, to not stall out the game, which I don't believe is going to. I think most games are probably going to be around that 15 to 20 minutes or less with the current state of Joust, if they don't change anything. But you can see, like, 1 champion melee, two melee, 1 champion ranged, 2 ranged. Oh wait. Okay, so I'm actually a little bit confused. I'm assuming. Okay, so I was actually, I read this wrong. So it's not a list. There's just gonna be 1 champion melee, 2 melee, and 3 range. So I believe that's what that means. And then 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna have 1 champion, 2 melee, 1 champion ranged, and then 2 ranged, I believe. I guess I'll have to see what exactly this means, or how I'm reading. A lot of this is a little bit confusing. Initially, I read it as, every wave, every 6 waves, they'll have a different version of these. But I'm assuming now that I read this right, you're gonna have 3 in the back, 2 melee in the front, and then that 1 champion's gonna be your melee. You're gonna have a champion melee at the front, 2 melee, 1 champion ranged, and then 2 ranged. So 2 ranged, 2 melee, 1 champion melee, 1 champion ranged. And then the exact same thing for 10 to 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes plus, you're going to have 3 champion melee and 3 champion range. So it seems that they're going to obviously scale it up to make these harder and probably more rewarding as they go up, which I believe that's how that's read. Stats and rewards scale every 2 minutes. Yeah, so there are going to be scaling for that as well, which is nice. This will also, weirdly enough, not weirdly enough, but this will definitely help with sieging, because, champion, melee, and range are going to have more health and defense, which, it's going to make you be able to tank the tower a little bit longer for that, which means that you're going to be able to take Phoenix and tower a lot easier with Titan as well. On to buff camps. Blue buff, primal, it's your blue, obviously. Spawns at 10 seconds. So, you know, you're going to either meet up at your blue, meet up at purple, meet up at red, whatever start you want to go to. Or even, you know, invade if you want. Don't think it's really worth, but, you know, you can if you want to. At 10 seconds is when it's going to actually spawn. So you're going to hear the wave spawn. This is normal Joust Smite 1 Season 3 map. 10 seconds in is when they're actually going to spawn. You're going to hear the wave come out. But the buffs don't actually spawn until 10 seconds in. Spawn timer is 3 minutes. Same goes for red and blue spawn at the same time. Purple does not. It spawns in 10 seconds later. But the respawn timer is 3 minutes. So purple's going to come up a little bit later. So, you know, there's never really a point of, you know, starting at purple. Neither was it really that in Smite 1 either. So pretty much same old stuff. Now, Lost Night, which is the Bull Demon, they're changing the name of that. There's a lot of things changing with this. It seems to me that they're like nerfing a lot of the things that they implemented in Smite 1 for Joust. They made it more competitive, you know, back in Smite 1, making Bull Demon a lot tankier. You know, you couldn't solo it. It would add a debuff to you, which I actually like because it makes the game more competitive. You can't just go over there and solo it as a level 10 assassin or hunter, which means that, you know, there's a lot more thinking around it, not just brain dead. Go over there and solo it while the enemy team has no idea. And then because of that, they gave an extra buff to getting Bull Demon, which was like 20% pen, which was really nice. But it seems as though from the patch that I was playing the one day, it's a lot easier to kill. You can solo it now, and then you also get the benefit of the 20% pen, which means that a lot more snowball potential. You're able to do that. They're kind of making it more of a casual game, which makes more sense. Which makes sense, obviously, but it's a little bit not as thinking. So they're making it more like arena, if sort of in a way. So, you know, every 3 minutes is going to become up sooner. I believe it's sooner. I think it was 4 minutes last time, if I'm recalling correctly. It used to spawn in at 4 minutes. Now it spawns in at 3. Slaying the Lost Night grants every player a live player on your team a buff for 2 minutes and applies a set of debuffs to the closest enemy objective for 90 seconds. Tower stuns. Phoenix disables healing and stun. This is a new thing right here, is the Titan. The Titan disables healing. I read a little bit of this before. Titan disables healing, so it doesn't. So like if you kill the Phoenix, you do a little bit of damage. It, you know, passive heals over time a little bit. Not really though, at least in Smite 1. But also power and protections are reduced by 75%. Attack speed is reduced by 50%. So, and then Lost Night buff grants 20% penetration while storing 0.8 of your max health. That's basically the same as last time. Base stats health is 2750. Team XP rewards 60. Gold 156. Protections is 30. And the power is 64. And obviously they scale up once the game goes on. And that's Lost Night or Bull Demon. One thing I like to point out is that Titan for Joust, it does reset. So if there are, it's similar to Conquest. If you know about resetting, you'll go into the Titan's room, and if there are no minions in there and you walk out, it'll reset the health to the Titan. So theoretically, if the Titan had 1 HP, you could go in without any minions as an enemy player, go into the Titan room, jump out, and it'll heal like a chunk of its health. You can keep going in and out and heal the Titan to full health. I like the idea of that, especially for Conquest. That wasn't a thing for Smite 1. There was no Titan resetting, but it seems to be the case that in Smite 2 there are Titan resetting, so you got to be more careful about that. But with this new feature that they're adding with Titan, disabling healing, power and protections are reduced by 75%, and attack speed being reduced by 50%, which means you're not going to be taking as much damage. Lost Night absolutely is OP as shit for how easy it is to get. Beforehand, there really wasn't a point of getting like the Bull Demon King, I guess, after you destroyed the Phoenix, or you wanted to wait a little bit. But yeah, this kind of destroys the Titan a lot. So, and you get 20% PEM. So basically to say, I'm going to test this out. If you get Lost Night when you're late into the game, I feel like you can just dive the Titan and just kill it. Or at the very least, make it a lot easier to kill. Obviously, you know, you have to go past the enemy team or whatnot. That might not be a thing you can do, but yeah, Lost Night seems to be OP for how easy it is to destroy and kill. Stealth zone, patch we saw earlier. There's going to be a stealth zone between purple buff and the lane minions. That little lane before there, or in between lane and purple buff. There's going to be two teleporters. Two-wave teleporters can transport you between red buff and Lost Night. We saw that as well. It does have a 10-second cooldown between uses. I believe it was 5 seconds before. I think they changed that to 10 seconds, or maybe they just misspoke. Tower is going to have 2,000 max health. Phoenix is going to have 3,000 max health. It regenerates 2 health per second. Titan's going to have 10,000 base max health. It regenerates 4 health per second. So yeah, Phoenix and Titan going to have the small regeneration of health. And then that's it. Another thing I will state that Tower and Phoenix, at least from the playtest that I played in December, they hit like a wet noodle. Like, they don't do anything. These were another change, a type of change they made to try and nerf the double tank meta that was plaguing Joust. Well, it's plagued Joust since its inception, basically. And it worked a little bit in Season 10, I believe. There was a lot more variety in team choices. But double tank meta, that's what they did. And so what they did was, with Tower and Phoenix, is that they would add percent damage or percent or defense percent reduction, I believe, after you get hit, like after a few times, meaning that you're gonna be taking more damage from all sources. Think of it sort of like an Exi, the passive of Executioner. And so it would make it to where tanks couldn't just infinitely stand in the tower. Well, when I was playing the PTS for Joust in SMITE 2, like level 3, level 4, level 5 squishies like a Medusa or an Uller that I was playing would take like three tower shots and live. Like, they would dive at that early. It does no damage. And so double tank's obviously gonna be still gonna be the top performing thing, and because of that, that's also it's gonna help snowball in Joust. So with Season 3, idea of Season 3's Chinese map, it's gonna make it to where you know, Bull Demon's a lot easier, or Lost Knight's going to be a lot easier to kill, and you get all of the benefits and even more with that Titan debuff that they added to that. Towers don't hit you for anything, so you can definitely dive that for free. There aren't any buff camps really, except for the 4, but that's just how the map has always been oriented, which means there's going to be a lot more team fights, a lot more snowball potential, because you're going to be getting most of your XP and gold from killing. So if you just kill them over and over and over again, you're going to have 3 or 4 level lead right off the gate. And that's just how Season 3 map has kind of always been. And I believe that's basically it in terms of... Now, that's more the competitive aspect of it in my mind. But, you know, as a casual game mode, it's going to make games a lot faster for you people out there and make it, you know... They don't only want like a 10 to 15 minute game. Now, it could be the case that you're on the receiving end of that. I've had that multiple times as I was playing. Every single game outside of like 2 games that I played lasted to 20 minutes and were competitive. So it is more just of a casual, you know, not really think type of game mode, which it makes sense. But hopefully in the future, either Season 7 map comes back for Joust, or, you know, they make a new rendition of Joust for SMITE 2, because I do like more the competitive aspect without having to play Conquest. Although I do enjoy Conquest. Conquest is strictly competitive, not even, you have to think about everything, your positioning, everything like that. I kind of wanted more of a middle to the competitive aspect of it, which doesn't seem to be this map. And then when we're talking about ranked for Joust, that doesn't seem to be the case. Obviously, they said they're not going to be introducing it, and, you know, not that I want them to introduce it now, but, you know, as a clear indicator, maybe in the future. It doesn't seem to be the case, but they are looking for some alternative ideas. One thing that they talked about specifically for Duel and Joust, Duel today, actually, I talked about it today for Duel, is that they're going to be some type of leaderboard system, probably through a third-party website like what I can't remember the site. There's a site for Smite 2 currently that you can look at, you know, leaderboards and stuff like that, and you know, trying to make a intermediary system between both people, the casuals, and more the ranked side of it. So we'll have to see. But JOUST is coming January 13th. I'm excited to play, and then, you know, I'll definitely probably make a video, you know, what I think of it, and then maybe critiquing how it, you know, to change it from more of a competitive standpoint, most likely. But you know, I think I have a bias though, because clearly I want more, you know, competitive, a little bit more competitive than this, or at least make, you know, make something, make a little bit. We shouldn't be able to tower dive at level 5 and not die, or, you know, we shouldn't be able to solo the bull demon or the lost knight at level or like 3 minutes into the game and give you all of that, you know, 20% pen and shit like that. So oops, that's JOUST. Duel, very similar. It's going to be January 13th. It's going to be the exact same map. You're going to have 2 bands, and they're definitely thinking about making this more of a competitive thing. So we'll have to see what happens to Duel, and hopefully they implement it into JOUST. Assault's coming out today. One thing that's cool about Assault, I'm going to be playing a little bit today, most likely, is that Assault is actually going to be going down to the, it's going to be in the Conquest map, but I think they're going to trim it down. It says it right here, trimmed down version of Conquest Middle Lane, which is pretty cool. They have Meditation, so, you know, Meditation Cloak was a starter in Smite 1. Now you're just getting Meditation. So that's pretty cool. You have some new random buff pickups, which is pretty cool. It's going to be pretty fun to play with. And then we can just kind of go over a little bit of it. Imagine, you know, people like Intersect or whoever the fuck else does these are going to go more in depth onto the conquest changes, as well as the rank. So I'm not going to go too much into that. I believe that's that. So we're going to skip through that. There's JOUST, Duel, Assault, some new gods. These are going to be on the 13th. So it comes out today, but these gods aren't going to be out today. It seems to be the case, or at least Aladdin is. Aladdin won't be out today. It's releasing January 13th. With that being said, I believe this reads that Mulan's going to be out today. Agni's going to be out today. Geb's going to be out today. Ullr's going to be out today. So basically all the gods that you did see me play or you played yourself on Smite 2 that day where they did the PTS in December, those gods will be out today. Some cool aspects, which I think are absolutely, I think they're one of the best features to add to Smite 2. Just being able to change the way you play that character, like Ra, for example. Ra wasn't a very great god in JOUST. Like, he was all right. He was very one-dimensional, but with the gods, like Ra's aspect, being able to heal off your ult and, you know, with your 3 and everything, and it doesn't scale off of power, that's pretty good. You can definitely go more support Ra, and I think that definitely changes the way he plays, like instantly makes him like a tier more, which will definitely be an interesting way to, make teams and stuff like that, because a lot of guys have different aspects, like Geb, for example. I think it's gonna be an interesting way to play teams, and with that, I think with tier lists and shit like that, to make, you know, gods are gonna be better with different aspects in JOUST too. It's gonna make it an interesting tier list. I don't know how people are gonna do that. I guess maybe tell them while you're doing the tier list, like, oh, this god sucks, but with his aspect, he's, you know, A. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, but definitely I love the new aspects. Here are all the aspects. I'll definitely leave the patch notes in the description down below to look at these all yourself. But like, Geb's Calamity hitting everyone around him. Geb now no longer pulls, but roots them in place, dealing constant basic attack damage from the duration, which is nice. More damage. Raw, Solar Blessing, and Searing Pain only deal base damage with no scaling. In return, Solar Blessing can be placed on allied gods, attaching them, and Searing Pain hits allies for heals. So fucking cool. Harvester of Souls no longer heals Thanatos, but provides permanent max health. Additionally, Soul Reap deals bonus damage and heals Thanatos based on his max health. So it's like more of a solo lane type of, if you think about Rat's like healing Acorn, that's sort of like that. That's pretty cool. It's gonna be more solo tanky Thanatos, which makes him so much different. Morrigan, you can teleport. Oh, I'm sorry, wait, Confusion no longer stealth, but on refire you swap. Yeah, you can teleport. That's yeah. So you basically teleport. So there's a lot of cool things that aspects I think are be really cool to shake up how we play. Everything else there's just bug fixes, item changes, which I believe someone else will go over. I'm not really into that. I'm just going over the Joust specific changes, and then eventually once we go over officially into SMITE 2, after the beta releases and properly shit like that, then I'll definitely every new patch see what's going on. But we're kind of in this medium median phase where we're like sort of or middle phase where we're like SMITE 1 is still like we're still playing SMITE 1, but SMITE 2 is coming out soon. My phone's ringing. So we'll have to see, but the beta is finally here, so we'll have to see how that goes. Definitely, I think free to play is coming soon. I don't know when that is. I think they go over it, but the live stream's still going on, so you can look for it yourself on their YouTube. There's live on Twitch as well. But the beta is coming out for free soon, so that's going to be really good for the community. So we'll have to see how that goes. But also, once we fully transition into SMITE 2, that's when I'll start making more content for that. But as of right now, like I said, we're in this like middle phase. But here's Joust. That's basically it. Remember, January 13th. And yeah, open beta starting today. Up until then, what's that? 6 days? Yeah, 6 days from now. Up until then, probably gonna be playing SMITE 1, unless there's a PTS for Joust in SMITE 2. Probably just gonna be playing SMITE 1, as I'm a Joust man. I might play SMITE 2, Conquest here and there, but generally love me some Joust. So we'll have to see future videos to come for that, how I feel, stuff like that. Tier list as well. I know there was a couple people asking me for the Joust SMITE 2 tier list. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to play it, so but that in the future will come. But yeah, here we are, SMITE 2 Joust beta 1 update patch notes today, going out live today. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below overall of the beta, how you feel about it, all the patch notes, how you feel about Joust, Duel, Assault, everything about that. What do you guys think about what I said? You know, in the comment section, tell me if I'm stupid or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But I think that's basically it. I do have like again, I'll put the update patch notes review or update patch notes in the description down below for you to look at yourself. Discord in the description down below if you'd like to join our awesome community. Memberships are open, I believe, for 99 cents a month if you so choose. Obviously not necessary, but very much appreciated. But I think that's everything that I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.